All right, guys, welcome to another live stream. Welcome to another live stream. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. All right, so a couple of my favorite personal finance books, Now, before we go over the books, they're right here. Just some criteria that I need. Well, not that I need, but that I prefer when I'm reading personal finance books. Because to be honest, I really just like listening to podcasts, or I'll just see somebody on YouTube, or I'm paying for some type of course. So that's kind of how I like to receive my financial information. I don't prefer reading, but I do read sometimes. I do have the Wall Street Journal subscription. I have some news apps that I get information from, so I do read sometimes, and I do end up buying books sometimes. But here are some of my criteria before I actually buy a book. So one, it has to be short, right? It can't be some type of novel where the book is like 3,000 pages. If you look at the books right here, they're very slim. So that's one of my criteria. I need the book to be very slim, very short, because I'm reading it for impact. I'm not reading it to have a good time. So I really want to just get my information and finish the book. Some benefits of that, you basically you get the information quicker. One, you can move on to another book. Two, and three, the faster you get the information from the book, the faster you can implement, right? So those are kind of like the criteria that I like for my financial books. Okay, I'm not like a fiction reader where it's like I'm trying to read these stories and get all these these useless examples. I want to make my time worth it, so that's why I get books like this where it just gets straight to the point. All right, so that's my criteria. You may see it different. You may want a book that's 1,000 pages or whatever the case may be, but for me, I want to be able to be done with the book within a week. And also, you could use Audible too. You don't have to get the physical book, but also I feel like with the physical book, you can make like little notes. Like for this one, I have notes, and you can also mark it up so it helps when you want to go back and refer back to something and get some notes from a specific section, right? Okay, so the first one on the list or the first one I have is first class travel on a budget. First class travel on a budget. Now I got this one. Somebody recommended it on YouTube. I forgot who it was, but it basically tells you how to utilize credit cards in the best way. And if you're not using credit cards now, you should be using credit cards. A lot of you don't use credit cards, and it could be because a lot of you are not responsible and you just go over your limit. You don't pay your monthly payment, or you don't pay off the credit card at the end of the month. But you shouldn't be using a debit card. I go to the grocery store all the time and I see people using a debit card, using cash. And I know in some instances you get cash from somewhere and you just want to get rid of it. But some people actually use cash on a day-to-day basis and they don't get the points. So you want to make sure that you are utilizing the points, right? Or getting the points from your credit cards. You want to make sure that you're using your credit card. Give me a second. So this is the first book, First Class Travel on a Budget. And it's one of my favorites because it tells you what credit cards you need to use. It tells you the points that you can get on those specific credit cards. And for the most part, these banks don't really change their credit cards that much. Now they changed the promotion, but I'm saying like the actual credit card itself. Like Chase has had the Sapphire, the Freedom, the Preferred, for the Reserve, and the Preferred for a long time. They may switch up how many points they give you on a specific item or specific purchase, but these credit cards have pretty much been the same. So it could be that the book is a little bit outdated, but for the most part, I mean, I looked at it and a lot of the credit cards are still being offered today. One of the main credit cards that I got from this book was the Bilt credit card, and that basically allows you to pay your rent with a credit card, and you get the points for it. And my rent is well above $2,000 each month, so I get those points each month. And by the end of the year, I have around 20 to 25,000 points, which is good for at least a flight or two. Or if you don't want to use it for flights, you can use it for hotels. You can use it for whatever you want to use it for. Cash back, gas, right? For those of you that have gas car, I mean, I have a gas car, but I know people drive electric, which I'm thinking about getting an electric vehicle. But yeah, so the book itself is 100 and like around 155 pages. It's really good. It goes into detail on the best credit cards right now. Again, the book came out, a while ago, so obviously credit cards have updated the specials, the offers, and things like that. But I really think this is a good read. I think everybody should pick it up. You could get it on Amazon. I'm not sponsored or anything. It's just a really good read. And also, with the stuff as far as like you hear people talking about transferring points and doing all this, it gets into that and shows you how to do it. Obviously, if you're familiar with Bill and you use the Bill app, it makes it a lot easier for you to transfer between credit card companies because you could transfer your Chase points to Citi or so on and so forth. For your American, I don't know, I'm sure about American Express points, but yeah, it shows you how to do all that stuff. So that's one of my favorite books. Again, it's a short read. And for those of you, again, I don't really use, I don't do everything it says in this book, but I'm pretty sure if you pick up this book, you could learn at least 3 things that you didn't know about credit cards, which I think is good, right? There was there was something in there. It was saying because Chase offers or gives you points for making purchases at Office Depot. So I didn't know Office Depot, if you go onto their website, they have like this gift card shop. I've never used it before, but I thought it was cool that the book pointed it out. And you can make a purchase on the Office Depot website to get the gift card for whatever you need to use it for. Like, let's say if you need to go to Target, or if you go to Target frequently, you just get a bunch of Target gift cards, but you get the points for purchasing the gift card on the Office Depot because it's like you're purchasing from Office Depot. And I think Chase gives you like 2 or 3x the points from purchasing from Office Depot. So it's just little tips and tricks like that to help you get more points. Like I said, I didn't really get too much into it. I got the Bill credit card. I did take that action, but I'm not too big on the, I don't have like 50, 60 different credit cards and try to do all those things that those people that are like fanatics with credit cards. But it's a good read. I think you should pick it up. All right, so the second book is the Covered Calls for Beginners. Covered Calls for Beginners. Now, I got to admit, I haven't done covered calls yet because I'm still reading through this book. This is one of the books where it's short, but you still got to read it over just to make sure you understand. But I think by the end of this year, I'm going to be implementing covered calls. I'm going to try it. I'll probably open up a small brokerage account with some money and try covered calls out. And for those of you who don't know, covered calls is basically you own shares of stocks and you sell calls to people that want to do options. Essentially, there's 2 sides to options. There's people that buy options and there's people that sell options. And for me, I know options are very risky, especially if you're doing like naked calls where you don't have nothing behind it. But covered calls, you already have the shares. So let's say your shares get called, you just have to give them up. And you're selling them to the market. So it's not like you're giving them up for free, but you're selling them at the the given price. The what is it? I forget what they call it. The strike price. Right. So yeah. And basically you already have the shares and you're just saying, hey, I'm going to sell you the option to buy these shares at a given price. If it doesn't hit that price, you still collect the premium and you still keep the shares because they didn't exercise to use the option. So this is a safer way to do options. For me, I'm not too big in the leverage game. I never liked it because there's a lot of downside, but I think what covered calls, it's a way different strategy. Honestly, from what I learned so far, really the only downside is the upside you would potentially miss, right? So if you bought the shares for $70 and like it went up past like the strike price or something like that, and the people exercised it, then you would lose that upside. But again, you're still getting paid out for the stock. So it's like you break even, but you're still collecting that premium. So you're really making money. But again, I'm still in the beginning stages of this book. I think it's a good read. Again, it's short. Let me look at the amount of pages. It's around 180, right? So we saw the same with the first class travel book. It's around like 150 to 180. This is 180. Again, the end is like the credits and stuff like that. So yeah, I like to stick to books that are 150, 180, so that way I could get through them quickly, and they're just to pick, they're there so I can refer back to. I'll leave some notes and so on and so forth. But yeah, those are my two favorite books right now. First class travel, covered calls. Again, most of the time I prefer to do podcasts. I have a lot of subscriptions that I pay for as far as financial guidance and things like that. But I think it's good every now and then to get some books. I'm probably going to do it a lot more, and just keep a library of books so you can always go back and refer to it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Those are my favorite personal finance books. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.